Welcome to the video of total quality management. In this particular video we'll discuss about few tools and techniques of TQM. The first is Pdsa cycle. Pdsa cycle is also known as the plan, do, study, act cycle, was first developed by Stewart and was modified by Deming. These are the names of quality gurus that we have discussed in our previous videos. It is a shorthand method for testing a change, by planning it, then trying it, observing the results and acting on what is learned. This is the scientific method used for action oriented learning. The use of Pdsa cycle is a way of testing an idea by putting a change into effect on a temporary basis and learning from its potential impact. This approach traditionally used in healthcare settings where new ideas are often introduced without sufficient testing. So, a Pdca cycle involves testing change ideas on a small scale. By building on the learning from these test cycles in a structured and incremental way, a new idea can be implemented with greater chance of success. As you can see in the cycle, there are 4 stages of Pdca cycle, that is plan, do, study and act. The first step, that is plan means plan the test or observations. We have to state the objective in this particular step, then you have to make the prediction about what will happen and why, then you have to develop a plan to test the change, that is we have to answer the questions like who, what, when and where. The next step is do. Here we have to try out the test on small scale, carry out the test, document the problem and unexpected or observations and begin analysis of the data. And the third step is study. You have to set aside time to analyze the data and study the results. The complete analysis of the data has to be done, comparison of the data to our predictions, then summarize and if reflect on what was learned. Then the fourth is act. You have to refine the change based on what was learned from the test and determine what modification should be made and prepare a plan for the next test. Then again, when we prepare the plan for the next test, and again this cycle will repeat, that is plan, do, study and act. This is what is Pdsa cycle. The next is benchmarking. The benchmarking is the process of comparing the cost, cycle time, productivity or quality of a specific process or method to another that is widely considered to be industry standard or best practice. Essentially, benchmarking provides a snapshot of performance of your business and helps you understand where you are in relation to a particular standard. The result is often a business case for making changes in order to make improvements. The long-term benchmarking was first used by cobblers to measure one's feet for shoes. They would place a foot on a bench and mark to make the pattern for the shoes. Benchmarking is the most used to measure performance using specific indicators. For example, cost per unit measure, productivity per unit measure, cycle time of a particular product per unit measure, or defects per unit of measure, resulting in the metric of performance that is often compared to others. Also referred to as best practice benchmarking or process benchmarking, it is a process used in management and particularly strategic management, in which organizations evaluate various aspects of their process in relation to best practice, usually within a peer group defined for the purpose of comparison. This then allows organizations to develop plans on how to make improvements or adopt best practice, usually with the aim of increasing some aspects of performance. Benchmarking may be one one-off event, but it's often treated as continuous process in which organizations continually seek to challenge their practices. There are few types of benchmarking that I have mentioned here. That is process benchmarking. You can see process benchmarking. The initiating firm focus its observations and investigation of business process with a goal of identifying and observing the best practices from one or more benchmark firms. Okay. Activity analysis will be required where objective is to benchmark cost and efficiency, increasingly applied to back office process where outsourcing may be a consideration. The next is financial benchmarking. Performing a financial analysis and comparing the results and its effort to assess your overall competitiveness. The next is performance benchmarking. Okay, performance benchmarking. This allows the initiator firm to access their competitive position by comparing products and services with those of targeted firms. Okay. Then next is product benchmarking. The process of design new products or upgrades to current ones. This process can sometimes involve reverse engineering, which is taking apart the competitor's product to find strengths and weaknesses. Okay. The next is strategic benchmarking. Okay. This involves observing how others compete. This type is usually not industry specific, meaning it is best to look at other industries. Then last one is functional benchmarking. A company will focus its benchmarking on a single function in order to improve the operation of that particular function. Complex functions such as human resource, finance and accounting, and information and communication technology are unlikely to be directly comparable in cost and efficiency terms and may need to be disaggregated into the process to make valid comparison. Okay. Now, essentially what we got the idea from this topic, that is benchmarking, is suppose if you are opening a automobile industry in India right now, so what you will do, you will compare yourself with the already established standard companies. That is, suppose you are opening a bike manufacturing company, so you will compare yourself with the best practices of Royal Enfield, okay, or the best practices of Bajaj. Okay, so likewise you will do the comparison with the other companies and you will set a benchmark. Okay, so what is your desired output, okay, with comparison to all the standard companies. This is what in brief what benchmarking means. Okay, thank you.